Alright guys, so hopefully you saw the boosting video that I put on yesterday, all about Paladins with Dr. Kael. Yesterday? I suppose it depends when you're watching this, don't it? But anyway, if you haven't seen it, go check it out, because I didn't want to... This is basically the second part. Now we're going to be talking about how to make gold as a prop Paladin, and there's quite a lot of sort of carryover from the boosting video. So, as I say, I didn't want to just like duplicate information. I've skipped a couple of questions. So the first question that I asked Dr. Kael was what spec, what talent build would you use? And he said he would use exactly the same talent build as what he used for boosting in the boosting video. So all I'll do is just put on screen, just before we actually get into it, is just what the final talent build looked like, so you can copy it if you want to copy it. But if you want more information on each of the talents and why you're picking those, I'll put a link down in the description for the video that we've done on boosting. Obviously go check that out. There's also an intro at the beginning of that to Dr. Kael, who he is, what he's about, and where you can find his content. So obviously, again, I'm not going to duplicate that here, but just briefly, Dr. Kael is a big brain Paladin. Prop Paladin specifically, but he's played Ret, Holy, he's competent, well, more than competent in all specs. Obviously, a massive thank you to him for all the help in doing these videos. Here, there's a link to his channel where you can see top quality, tier 4, 5, 6 Sunwell Plateau content on his channel, so you can see how they do it. And there's some other random fun videos on there as well, which you should definitely go and check out. Project Hole, just saying. Obviously, make sure you like, subscribe, check out the giveaway, come check me out over on Twitch so you don't miss these sort of things when we actually do it live. And let's get into it. Now, we're going to look at how to make gold as a Paladin. And actually, firstly, what I want to ask you, Kael, is Paladin really the most profitable class to play? So a mage is in classic, hands down. Mage is the way to go for gold farming, but is Paladin that far ahead, or can you do this sort of stuff competently on more than just a Paladin?
Paladins I'll say this, they're better than mages are in classic. Yeah, I mean they are. Are there ways for gold, like non-classes, to make gold? I could go into each class, how I would make gold on each class. 100%. Hunters, I'd be out killing things. Rogues, I would be an engineer and extracting things. I mean, if I was any type of caster, I would be crafting and flipping things. Or teaming up. There's plenty of ways. You're gonna get some big farms coming up. People will discover. I'm not, just because I have my own methods, 100%, there's going to be somebody out there that's going to have something better than we've ever thought about.
A classic version of TBC is going to have a much wider audience than private servers, isn't it? So yeah, these things are going to be discovered relatively quick, you would think. Let's face it, some of the metas in classic now, I didn't see coming. And I think even people who played on private servers didn't see them coming.
Yeah, it was just... I'm not gonna lie, when I watched the first time I ever saw a mage solo pull Mardon, I literally was just so fascinated. I'm like, oh my god. Even safe spotting, how do people just want to try to find that? It was crazy.
Yeah, but yeah, the classic community finds a way. Specifically Paladin, what is... I know I'm asking a stupid question, but, for the sake of the audience, what is the best farming spec and why, as a Paladin? So you got Holy Prot and Ret. Is Prot the only viable one, or can you make reasonable gold as Ret or Holy?
Holy, absolutely, not really. Holy, you don't bring anything to the table. You can't kill things crazy fast. You could be a Scottejaye, but you're gonna have to farm all that gear just to kill some things fast on a 10-second cooldown. But Ret, sure, you can swing, kill elementals pretty consistently. You run into mana problems at TBC though, so you're gonna be drinking a lot. Prot, just hands down, will takes the trophy. They just big AoE packs across the board. That's kind of how Prot's gonna make its money.
On the basis we're sticking with Prot, I can't imagine there's any items for gold farming, or is there? Is there any items for gold farming that you use that you wouldn't use for boosting? Only me again, interrupting as usual. So the next thing that I asked Dr. Kael is if there's any items, any specific items for gold making that you would want that will make things easier. Now again, obviously it's quite repetitive. You know, the item setup that you want, or the specific items that you want, is very similar to the boosting, or more or less exactly the same. So to save, again, duplicating content, obviously go and check the video out where we go through all of these items in depth, but I will just flash them up on screen so you know that these are the items you need to get. If you want to find out why you want these specific items, then obviously, as I say, you'll have to go and check the boosting video out. But let's get back to Kael.
I'll start off with the key item, and that's the figurine of the Colossus.
When I watched you use it in Stockades, I know that was quite a while back, but it was pretty much like a second lay on hands, wasn't it? I mean, it's ridiculously quick how quick your health goes up. But would you still consider using the 2-piece Righteous?
It's really nice. Like, even when I go on to tier 4 and tier 5, I make a farm or a boosting or farming set, and I use that, and I gem spell power into it. I absolutely use it. What did I say the most amount of damage is? What's your highest damaging ability?
Consecrate.
Yeah, you got to go to set the calls and get the Consecrate Librum. Consecrate is your damage. Through and through, will always be your top damage. So this comes in number 2 for the most valuable things.
So afflicts your attacker with deadly poison spores each time you block.
It is technically deadly poison, like rogues. Stacks up to 5 times. Gets to 5 stacks. If you pop wings, which is Avenging Wrath, as paladins, well, we call it wings, but you guys call it Avenging Wrath, that should increase that damage as well, because that is your damage output, and then you're going to do a lot of reflective damage.
Argent Defender.
Correct. So you have so many mobs hitting you. 250 block rating at level 70 is like 60% block chance. So let's say that shield procs. What this means is you're blocking every single attack at this point. So your Fell Spike on your shield is hitting everything. Your Blessing of Sanctuary is hitting everything. It amplifies your reflect damage by a ton. But because you're blocking every attack, your damage you take is minimal. If that's procced while you hit your figurine of the Colossus trinket, you're going to see a lay on hands effect. You're going to want a good spell power main hand, and I could just, start listing them off. The easiest one to get if you're playing a fresh prop paladin on Karazhan like you are, or just anybody, is the Caverns of Time weapon. It's called the Continuum Blade.
Yeah, that's the one.
It's free. It's your starter spell power weapon. It has very high stamina.
Okay, so hopefully that gave you a good idea on the items, like the certain items that you need. Obviously, the rest of the slots you'll just fill in with your typical tanking gear whilst trying to get a lot of spell power. So as you heard Kael said, the Righteous set, is a great place to start. Get the Caverns of Time weapon, Righteous set, your Trinket from Shattered Halls, your Consecrate Librum, all those bits that we've just flashed on. As I say, if you want the full explanation for each of those items, then obviously check the video out that I posted about boosting specifically. This was just little clips out of it, just so you know which items to try and get when you're going out gold farming in these places that we're now about to find out. So next, Kael is going to tell us the top 3 places that he chooses to farm as a prop paladin. Top 3 places to farm and why?
All right. The very big one is Stratholme. Your highest gold per mob is going to drop in there. If it's anywhere from 2 to 10 silver per mob. Rune Cloth will most likely, in TBC scenario where everybody's going to be a tailor, everyone's going to be leveling tailors, cloth should hold its value pretty strong. Stratholme has a bunch of blues that can drop from trash, which can be DE'd or vendored, depending on the market. Again, please, if you're doing it, do it right and know whether you should be disenchanting. If you're not an enchanter, then sure, vendor, but there are BOE blues that you can mail off to somebody. And those, even if you're vendoring, there's multiple blue items in there that can be vendored for 4 to 8 gold. Any item under level 50 should be just vendored, because anything over 51 is large brilliant shards. My farming path in Stratholme, I'm going to be playing on a fresh server, hopefully, so I will actually go into the cathedral part where I can get righteous orbs at the start of a server, because Crusader enchant still holds value. It's reduced at level 70, but it's still a cheaper version People just throw Crusader on their first weapon they get. You know, it's not their Mongoose weapon, but it might be Crusader just to do more damage.
Yeah, and early on, there's probably going to be very few Mongoose enchanters anyway, is there? You know,
we say that, but with the volume of players playing, you know, you probably see it.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Private servers, it's like, all right, it might take a week or two for a group of people to have it, but I would assume with how many Karazhans are going to be ran, it would be fairly easy.
Well, I can see, and I'm not exaggerating here, I can see some guilds having 7 or 8 Karazhan groups running, because, you know, there's a lot of guilds at the moment that run 240 mans, don't they? So, you know, assume they don't sort of cull people, which they'll have to cull all the rogues, but other than them, you know, everybody else will be raiding.
Between Righteous Orbs, Dark Moon card, the Beast cards are still highly sought after in TBC, so they hold value. The Ace will always be worth the most, but you can still make some good money off Beast cards, because Priest are still going to want Dark Moon card Blue Dragon, 100%.
Can you solo the Beast in UBRS?
Yeah, I can, but there's also, at that point, there's a Dragonkin in the other corner, because it's like phase 6 or something. They add a Drake. Like, I'm not a classic guru, but I know there's another boss in that room at some point. And if the Beast knocks you back into that guy, it's over. And if you have a Beast deck and you're going into TBC Classic, or I would assume hang on to them, because they absolutely should jump. But if you are a Priest in Classic and it's going to go over, and then of course you want to make that deck whenever you can.
Obviously, we're going to go over the top 3, but so you're saying Strat, which is obviously I don't need to educate people on what Strat is. It is a classic dungeon. Is that really the #1 place for a prop paladin to go still? You know, over primal farming, for example.
Of course, you don't have to compete with anybody, right? You're in your own little dungeon. It's why Maraudon is so good, or ZG is so good for mages, because they don't have to compete ever. When you don't have to compete, you're in your own lane, and if you mess up, it's on you. Stratholme will always be good because of the raw gold per hour you can make. If it boils down to it and you just want to vendor every single item, Stratholme is going to be where you're going to go. Like, all right, I can statistically, or a static gold number, like 400 gold an hour in Stratholme, you know, within a day or two, I could have epic flying or something. You could just plow it out.
So, all right. So, Strat, obviously, on this particular video, the one with the gold making, I will obviously put on screen your big pull again as well anyway, so people can see just sort of how quick it actually is and how much gold you can make. But what's your #2 as a prop paladin? Where you're going?
It's going to sound weird, but I go to RFK, Razor Front Crawl. And you're just going to be
very
like,
weird.
What?
Yeah, I am. If you'd have said SFK for twink weapons, I'd have been like, yeah, that makes sense. But
yeah, twink weapons are still on the table in RFK. 29 twinks. You're gonna twinks even currently right now are still popping. There's still big brackets in TBC. The 39 bracket's going to be fairly big. The 29 bracket's going to be way bigger than it is now. It's 19 twinks will still absolutely be popular. You'll see 60 twinks, I bet.
Yeah.
You will. There are a lot of twink items in RFK. You get wool cloth, which is right behind mage weave. It's easy boost run. There are some annoying mobs, but other than that, you're going to be able to jump. You go into RFK, you jump down, you pull all the boars. It's very easy, and resetting, or you run back up the vine. They're very fast runs, and you actually, you're between boosting, wool cloth, and it's a slower gold make. But if you boil it down to like actual gold per hour, it's really, really high.
I just can't. I can't believe that you've gone Strat.
Even
RFK.
I know, but even on private servers where your player pool is much smaller, it's always I'll end up farming RFK for like 3 days straight, and then I won't go back for about a month because I'll farm a bunch of what I need, and then over the time I sell them. And again, I'm talking like even where I'm playing with a player base not as big. People don't come to private servers to twink, by the way. Like they don't. It's not really a thing. But even then, the money I make out of RFK is awesome. And wool cloth. Wool cloth might still be like. I feel like mage weave will always be the most expensive, depending. But wool cloth is another one that's just you make so much money off wool cloth. And you get silk in there too. Like it's not. You get a nice mix. If you want, like, if I'm purely running for wool cloth, I don't go to RFK. But like, it's just. I know it's hard to get you to grasp your head around it, but like the items in there,
I can't.
It has a higher blue drop rate. I've statistically seen across every server I played on, and those items just sell for. God, if you get like 4 of them in one run, it's like, all right, great. I made like 400 gold. 500 gold, maybe less, even at 250 gold, 200 gold.
And I suppose the big
in one RFK run is like takes like 9 minutes. That's still really good money.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. And I guess, you know, the reason it's so valuable as well is because there's not many people doing it. You know, there's not going to be massive amounts of people running RFK. I mean, I can't remember the last time, even when I was leveling, that I'd done RFK. So I suppose you can dominate the market for those items.
There's a high lottery ticket item in RFK. It's a green headpiece, 9 agility, 9 stamina. If you bink that item, you are gonna make a lot of money. If there's any twink players, all it is a level 29 helm, Pathfinder helm of the monkey or something. It's the best in slot 29 twink item, and it should sell for 500 to 1,000 gold, somewhere in there. That's the lottery ticket item. It's not just a green and vendor it.
I wonder how many people have actually got that item and just gone and vended it.
Oh, I don't like to think about it.
Go on. What's the third one? Don't
Lower
say
Blackrock.
Wailing Caverns.
No, it's Lower Blackrock Spire.
What we talked about on the last one about the shards.
Yeah, which that's not even like. There's a lot of things in Lower Blackrock Spire that you can farm. Annihilator is one. That's something you'd want to like try to get. And the mobs generically in Lower Blackrock Spire are very easy to kill. Dire Maul is a close one behind Lower Blackrock Spire, but I just like resetting in Lower Blackrock Spire is still a lot easier than Dire Maul to me. But again, on private servers, we don't get the logout reset instance thing, and if that's still working in TBC, then I guess it wouldn't matter.
Yeah.
As for like Stratholme, setting your hearth to Light's Hope Chapel is cool as long as you have a mage to get you back to Shad at some point.
So your top 3. I mean, it's mind-boggling. Your top 3, and none of them included anything in TBC.
Correct. Black Morass is like, I don't know if I had to like put Black Morass. If you have skinning, like you can do the whole pull all the alligators. That's not bad. It just comes down to speed, man. It's how much. Like Netherweave cloth won't be worth as much as classic stuff. It just won't.
No, and I suppose even that. Let's be fair. How many prop paladins are you going to see with skinning? Unless they're specifically skinning just to BM farm, for example.
Yeah, you're exactly. It might be popular because of how many leather workers there's going to be, right? I'm not one to say it might not be a thing.
Yeah. I mean, on the basis that you can pull all the mobs without them resetting, you know, that's the big thing, isn't it? You can't run around Nagrand and pull 20 mobs, but because you're in an instance, that's what makes it work.
Correct. There's no leashing. They're on you until you either safe spot them or they or you die or you leave the instance or something. There's definitely some areas out in the world prop paladins can farm, whether it's in classic or in TBC. There's definitely a few areas where prop paladins can excel in the world. It's just Like everybody knows on top of Black Temple fighting the initiates. Of course, you would do fine over there. It's just competition.
So for people who don't know that, you know, what is that about? So would that, if you was farming out in the world in TBC, would that be the place you went to, and why? You know, what does it give you?
Yeah, so one of my world farm spots is, well, both of them are in Shadow Moon Valley. I don't really go anywhere else. There's some Nether Storm spots. There's Nagrand. I guess you could pull a bunch of tall bucks. Like but you'd have to round them up yourself, and then you could just consecrate to keep them in combat.
Yeah, but like you say, why would you do that when you can just go and strat? Yeah, it's just pointless, isn't it?
It is. That's like, I will never go mining and jewel crafting. I would always go blacksmithing and jewel craft. I would never pick up a gathering profession as a prop paladin. Just there's no reason.
I was fully expecting at least one of the popular farming, you know, one of your popular farming methods to involve something in TBC, which, you know, I genuinely am shocked that it doesn't.
I know. Again, it's just when you think like how many players are going to be playing, everybody's always going to be questing an Outland. So Netherweave Cloth will be borderline useless. Granted, you get more silver, but can you kill it as fast as you can the other, you know, in the other spot? You can't. They have more health. It's just they're higher. The higher the level you get, the more health they have. And it's your damage eventually. Like even if you're in T6 gear, yeah, you can kill things, but it's more money. It's straight up more money. Even if you were just trying to vendor, it would be cool to farm, like being able to go into a dungeon and pull things and kill them inside a dungeon. I personally don't know of one, but none that are more gold than what I would currently farm. Whether you want to show these, but these are my two spots in the world if I had to farm. It's humanoids. The good part, so the upside to farming humanoids in TBC would be like trying to bink like a Blink Strike, like a big BOE epic, which would sell, or a Blade of Wizardry that would sell for like 5 to 7k or maybe more. If jewel crafting patterns are going to be more difficult, those might be worth money.
Is there any alternative farms for a paladin? So now, outside of the norm, you know, you're going in and farming dungeons or boosting or anything like that, is there any that people might not maybe think of?
The only thing I would do on a paladin outside of AoE grinding is if I had a 310 mount, which is either you got Gladiator or you got Ashes of Alar, which I do on my private server. Legitimately drop, by the way, not bot.
just a quick FYI in there. I've got it.
Well, right? But this is, I'm getting to my point. And then at that point, when you obtain that mount, a 310, go pick up herbing and mining and fly faster than anyone else in the world. Run circles around epic flying mounts. Legitimately, you will fly circles around other epic flying mounts. 310, 280. You get amplified because you have Crusader Aura. And it stacks. Like, you fly.
What about if you was engineering? Would you consider cloud farming, or do you think that's going to be...
Oh, no.
No?
Bro, on private servers, it's like people have characters logged out with engineering extractors.
Yeah, so on Classic it's going to be 10 times worse.
It's going to be so much worse.
Yeah, which, again, it is, the more I think about it, the more... Well, I mean, I don't need to think about it. I know what you say makes sense. But
no matter how,
why would you go and compete?
I know. So, but here's the crazy part. Even if they allow all the gold in the world to roll over into TBC, you can only farm so many primal airs and primal fires in a sitting, right? Like, mobs have to respawn, clouds have to respawn. Even if there's forced respawns, that's a cap. Do you know how many primal mites a full server is going to need to craft, like, Spell Strike for every caster?
Yeah, it's going to be ludicrous.
It's going to be like, what's a primal air cost? 300 gold per? Like...
Yeah, and you can see it. I mean, I am... That's part of the reason... Sort of why I'm looking forward to a fresh. Yeah, I'm going more and more towards it. I'm not going to lie.
You will... Again, like as I've said literally 100 times, by all means, if you farmed High Warlord or Scarab Lord, or maybe you just don't want, or if you just want to use Nax gear and have it even easier, do you. But that is not what TBC was. It was never. That was like such a small percentage of people.
Yeah, and a fresh would be. It would be a more, I think, a more rewarding way of playing as well. You know, even doing that 1 to 60 again, yeah, it's going to be a bit of a pain in the ass, but you know, ultimately, I just think it's going to be a better experience, a better economy.
Yeah, but all they'd have to do is just give like a two-week grace period on a fresh server to level up.
So anyway, Kael, thanks very much, mate. Thanks for sharing all of that knowledge, and I know you've got loads more to give as well. So as I think of other topics that I can pick your brain on, well, yeah, you know you're going to be back.
Yeah, I mean, I'm again, I was telling you in Cargos, if you guys ever need want to make videos about whether it's boosting or individually gold making or how I set up for whatever it may be, the other big project I was working on was those trash videos. So I got a lot of things I got to do, and I'm kind of running out of time to do it. So I'm always here.